Welcome to part 5 of the Donk master build. Now in this video, it will demonstrate step-by-step fabrications of the replacement hardwares for the badly damaged anchoring areas. Now in the last video, I went into the belly of this beast to expose the badly damaged anchoring platforms, which has been decimated by salt water over its glory days on the road back in the 70s up into the late 80s and into the early 90s. Now, if you have seen part 1 through 4 and have not liked or subscribed, go back and like and subscribe. Also share it. Don't be selfish. Now let's get into it. Okay, here are the mounting platforms, both sides that are badly rusted out. I will cut them out up to the good metal, just enough where you have good metal to weld to. Now this is the remainder of the chassis. Those holes are also rotted out where the bushing sits, so those have to get rectified as well. Now I selected 10 gauge metal for these replacement rings, so I will also select the appropriate hole saw that the same size of the bushing end that push through those holes and make the holes. Now I got them cut into squares, and then I will cut them into circles, but not perfect circles, but good enough circles where I can now miter down the edges, bevel them down where they can now actually sit flush in the holes on the frame. So here I'm mitering them down. I'm gonna have them miter down and bevel down to sit in those holes. And I would also coat them before with a coat of that same stop rust color you see there. Got them mocked up, and you notice that silver paint. That silver paint actually weld through primer. Now I like to protect my metal as I work. I use the appropriate primers in the areas where I need to, or where it's needed out as well. So you notice the back side of the rings are coated. So now proceed to welding on the passenger side. Got those welding. Both sides are welding. Now these are the this is the mounting plate. That's the actually sits over the torque box, and that is made out of 14 gauge steel. So it's a solid flat piece of plate, and I fabricated to fit exactly in the area just like the old one did, but the old one was one unit. So now I proceed to weld it in and give it a nice stitch weld to hold it in place and back to OEM spec. Now the bolt, you got to get the bolt in there and get this side bolted up while I go to the next side. So this is the plate for the other side. As you notice there, I got one of the old cage plate that I'm going to use to mock up the new ones. Got it cleaned up and got some rust coating over it. Got all the new ones cut out. I'm going to get them on the press, the drill press, and bore the hole in them. Now I proceed to bend the edges as the same shape as the original one, so that that diamond nut can be able to lock in once you tighten from the bottom. It holds the nut in place where you're able to tighten down the body to the chassis. So now what I did, all those old diamond plates, a couple of them was missing, so I had to make a few new ones out of same 10 gauge steel. I think that is no, those are 1/8 steel. And what I did, get new bolts and nuts and weld on and nuts on top of them. because I had cut the old ones off during the process of removing them. They weren't no good anyway, and these, I had to brainstorm how I'm gonna do this here, but I came up with this idea of cutting off the top completely and clean them up and put new nuts on them. Now here, as I go along the chassis, I get some of these holes all patched out on the chassis for the bushing. Again, weld through primer, get it marked up in place, and get it all lined up. So I do all this here before I take the body off, because you gotta have the body on so you get everything lined up as it should. Now this is next to the rear seat. Remember, I cut these out, and I cut out the brace to expose these, where I can get to those diamond nuts that was spinning. It's seized and fused together with the bolt. From here on all the way to the back, also along in the floor well, those areas in the front as well. Now these are the braces that I took out that covers up that hump there where those lockdown sits. Now onto the floor. Onto the floor pan. Again, the template that I made earlier. Now you can get away with just doing a square measurement with tape, but when you come to, you got multiple cuts, you gotta use a template to get that patch right. So I got them all cut and bend them with my homemade bender. Then I'm going to proceed to weld them in. First, you tack them in place, get them tacked in. You see here, this one now I had to do some relief in it to get it to fit that angle, because it was kind of impossible to bend that with my bender. Now take a load of this right here. Getting ready to do some wire brushing in this area. I've been watching this area for quite some time now, and this is what I found. It's actually tape over rust out and with some fiberglass over it. Yeah. Yep, this was done years ago. Yeah, and guys, I'm still doing that today. Yep. Yeah, you have them sitting out at AutoZone and Walmart. Those major stores like those sitting out there now. When you pull up, they actually you want that fixed? I can fix that, and by the time you go in and come back out, they have it all fixed and all sprayed up with aerosol spray. Yeah, so more patching going on. This is the main cross member. Little holes, and remember that rod out that I pointed out earlier. In part 1. Yeah, so you see all the different angles of the replacement steel. Now that's a box length of steel. Now it's hard to get it to bend in that angle right there. So actually I had to make relief cuts in it, bend it, then weld it in place. Now this is another rod out behind the rear seat and the right rear passenger side. You see the bushing there in the background. Once again, I use my weld through primer. Now here, this is the main cross member. Remember the bolts in part 1, when I took the seats out, snapped in the nuts. So what I did, I just chiseled them off and just got some new nuts. This plate came out of a door, and I just cut them out and weld them in to replace those nuts that the bolts had broken, snap into. Now I like to coat everything before I put in my panels. Especially this is a cavity right here where I wouldn't be able to undercoat this panel here, so I undercoat it before I proceed to weld it in. Got it down in place. Now it's time to weld it in. Now this is the passenger side floor. Got that all mocked out and start the tack welding. Now I just finished trying to button up the rest of the floor. Now this right here is under the driver's seat, and it had a kind of a angle to it, like a 35, 25-degree angle. So once again, on my homemade bender, I got it all bent. Now this is the panel at the driver's side floor. Now this panel came bent the opposite way on the edge, and I can't understand how they made that mistake. But once again, I took it to my homemade bender and got it rectified along with some persuasion from a few small sledgehammer. Now I got it all tacked in, and if you notice in the background now, you see my mounting plate back there. I got a coat of etching prime on top of it. So once again, I like to shore up everything with coats of either stop rust or etch primer. Now I'm about to finish seal up the rest of the floor here, and I got my template once again, drawing out my template. I'm going to take this template to an old panel. This is a door from an old truck, not an old truck, but a truck that been in a collision, as you see there, and cut out what I need off it, and going to take that and graft it in on the floor. So I got it all, everything all buttoned up. Now it's to get all this tool out of there and then start to stitch weld everything together. So now I got it all stitch weld together. Never try to stitch weld the panel all at once. Get it all buttoned in first, because if you try to stitch weld it all at once, you're going to warp up and you're going to have a hard time with it, and then it's going to come even shorter at some end because the heat that twists it up and get it all bent out of shape. So this conclude this repair, and next up I will be taking the engine out of the car. It's just rest down inside there. Customer brought it with just, he's put the engine in himself, but it's not hooked up or nothing or wired up or anything. And also I'll be lifting the body off the chassis now that all the mounting areas inside the body is done, and I will be finishing up the ones on the back of the chassis. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching.